Hello. Well, this is something that might be quite a bad sign, actually. I'm quite worried about it. It's the online misogyny law that they're trying to come up with to ban. Now, of course, I get online misogyny. I don't like it. If people make direct sexual references to myself, I delete their comments. That's for sure. And I block them. But that's the only things I delete or block. So people keep telling me, you've deleted my comment, and I haven't. It's YouTube that's done it. And by the way, YouTube will be doing more of that if this online misogyny thing turns up. So it's not just men who should be worried about this bill. It's anyone who posts anything on the internet. I'm Granniopteryx. I am to be found on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds, and I'll let you know when I've uploaded a new video on Twitter, Gab and Parler, where I am at Granniopteryx. Please like this video, do it right now, and share it, and subscribe. If you're subscribed on YouTube, check the subscription. They drop subscriptions, and they've been doing that rather a lot recently to my videos. Also, you can help me financially, buy me a coffee, or one of the other links. All the links I've spoken about here are in the description. All right, let's get back to government interference in daily life and interaction. You could make a simple comment. You see, the problem with saying online misogyny is, where do you define it? That's the problem. It was the problem with the Religious Hatred Act that Tony Blair tried to push through 3 times and succeeded only on the 3rd. And he kept trying to push it through, and Parliament kept saying, yeah, but where do you define hate crime? And he kept saying, oh, don't worry, it will be applied only in the most extreme circumstances. And he got it through on the 3rd go. And now you've got the police hammering on people's doors at 7 o'clock in the morning to tell them they've been accused of a non-crime hate incident. So you should never give these sorts of powers to governments. Now, I've just, there's something going on here. It's a matter of definition. And here we have another story. Dominic Raab, you see, just like there were elements who wanted to get rid of Johnson and did, there are elements trying to get rid of Dominic Raab now. And they are accusing him of various sins. And these sins are a matter of interpretation. The headline here is that Gina Miller has accused Dominic Raab of being very rude to a young runner. A runner being somebody, a gopher, you know, somebody who's doing odd jobs around the Conservative Party conferences or offices. And apparently there was some situation where Raab came out of a meeting and there was no car waiting for him. And he asked the runner what had happened, and the runner thought somebody else was getting him the car, so hadn't got him one. So Raab shouted, I don't know, get me a effing car. Well, all right, it was rude. It wasn't bullying. She says he was bullying and abusive. No, I mean, if he kept on talking to the runner in that way over several meetings, then yeah, that's bullying. But if he just says it the once when he's obviously under some pressure of time, then it's rude. He shouldn't do it. But it's not abusive and bullying. And Gina Miller is, I might explain to those of you who are not acquainted with the lady, she is so much of a Remainer, she actually tried bringing a legal case against the British government for taking us out of the EU. And so she says that she has accused Dominic Raab of being abusive and intimidating towards her as well. And this is how he was abusive and intimidating. She's a millionaire. She's very well placed, very well connected. She said Mr. Raab told her he couldn't make up his mind as to whether she had too much money or was just stupid. after the pair appeared on Radio 4's Today programme in 2016. That's a while ago. All right, well, I'd say that abusive and intimidating is not a description I would apply to that. I'd say it was quite witty. I'd say Raab was quite right. I can't make up my mind whether she's getting money from somewhere to push the EU in this way, or just obsessed, or simply stupid. Yeah? Are you feeling abused and offended, Miss Miller? All right, so that's the whole point about that illustration. Is she could say at that point he was being misogynist. Now the online misogyny thing wouldn't apply to that, but it would if he wrote it down in a tweet. Or she could say it did if she wanted to get at him. And that's the problem with a bill that's so wide-ranging that you can't actually define it anymore. And the problem should be only incitement. And there is a law about incitement. That's clear enough. If people are calling for death, destruction, self-harm, that sort of thing, that is incitement. And that can be dealt with. Those are words you can actually point to. But misogyny, not liking women, that's a very wide remit. There are some men who absolutely loathe, hate and detest women and can't be anywhere near them and can't think about them without foaming at the mouth. And there are other men who feel, well, women are a little bit sheep-like or too ready to take on fashionable political ideas or something like that. That can also be interpreted as misogyny. No, this whole business is not misogyny. It is crippling the internet. And when it says here, under the new online safety bill currently being finalised, social media firms will be required by law to abide by their terms and conditions which generally bar misogynistic abuse. Failure to enforce them will result in fines, and their services could be blocked by Ofcom, the online watchdog. The problem is what constitutes misogynistic abuse. So at first the government's going to say, oh, it means, some really bad sexual insults and offences and speculations and that sort of thing. And they may have this in their mind, but what's going to happen is it's going to end up with people being thrown off Twitter for saying that they don't like women wearing perfume or high heels or something. Look, don't laugh. Don't go, that will never happen. Of course it will. Because the government wants to pretend it's doing something when it isn't doing something, when the real problems in society, the illegal immigration that we can't control, the areas of British towns that are colonised by people who do not recognise British law, the problems we have with different sorts of crime, they're not doing anything about that. The overreach that the police are falling into, the infiltration of various civil services with critical race theory and all sorts of nonsense like that. They are not doing anything about that. No, they're just going to chill the internet so that it's less easy to say what they're doing, or not doing rather, to keep this country a reasonable place to live in. Okay, so that's it. I disagree with all of these laws. Online incitement, we already have a law for online incitement, and that's all we should be concentrating on at the moment. Meanwhile, the government should be debating how to deal with the thousands of army-age young men who are coming into this country, in many cases, not all, obviously, to bulk out the criminal element in our country, or the people being trafficked under a guise of being refugees. No, that is what the government should be doing something about. Not this. Not chilling the internet. The internet is, at the moment, our only safety net, our protection and our shield. Because at the moment, I can remind you all of this. In 3 or 4 years' time, when a few of these bills have gone through, who knows? All right, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.